So hey guys, Gellis here. So in this video we will be making a very professional gather skirt with professional zipper that you would need. Professional waistband. Will be using this fabric itself. Now if you could sew, definitely you could follow along to make this easy professional gather skirt. So let's get started. Of course you would need your zipper, your pin cushion, and maybe a seam ripper in case you made a mistake, and your sewing machine, your scissors. There you go. Let's go. So I have the measurement here. So the waist measurement we're working with is 42. Okay, so I'm going to just show you how I'm going to do it here. We're going to measure 42. So you could go 42 times 3, but I'm going to just measure it here just to show you exactly what I'm doing. So 42 here, so 42 one time. All right, and then we're going to go another 42 again. 42 two times. Right, and then here now, because we're making a gather skirt, it must be very, very long. I know it's a lot of fabric that you have to be, gathering in. Then we go up to about 20 here. Okay, so that's what I did. So 42 by 42 and then 20. So that's what we have here. And then you're going to determine the length. So I have the full, or if you don't want to do all that, you want it even larger, you could go 3 yards. That's fine, but understand the measurement that I just showed. And then we're going to do with the waistband. So the waistband I have here now. So the width of the waistband I have here, the width of the waistband is about 6 inches. Okay, the width of the waistband of 6 inches, and then the length of the waistband, the band itself, it would be 42, and you're going to add 3 inches to it. So why add 3 inches? Because you want half an inch on both, 1.5 inch on both sides for the zipper. Okay, so just remember, if your waist is whatever it is, in this case I'm doing at 43. All right, so 44, 45, 46. So the length of the waistband going to be 46. So whatever your waist measurement is, just add 3 inches to it. And then the width itself we have here, like I mentioned, is 6. And the length is your waist plus an additional 3. All right, so let's put it together. All right, guys. So now what I've done here. So what I've done, I have the full fabric here, as I mentioned earlier. So we're not going to cut anything. So there's so many different ways to make a skirt. But I want to make it very easy so you could follow along. Then we have the waistband. So the waistband, what I did, I ironed it in half. All right, so this is what I ironed in half. And if you have interfacing, if you don't know what is that, don't worry about it. You could iron interfacing on it, right? If not, don't worry about it. So that's what I have. So the first thing I'm going to do here right now is I am going to sew a gathered stitch on the sewing machine. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to turn my machine on the largest stitch, right? The very largest stitch. And when I turn it on the very largest stitch, it's easier for me to gather this skirt itself, and you would see. All right, so I'm going to just make I make 2 stitches. So 2 stitches here, and you can make different color stitch. Actually, I think I'm going to change my thread so you can actually still stitch 2 stitch, because we're going to be pulling the stitch to get it gathered nicely. All right, and it's going to be big stitches here. So let's get started. So on my sewing machine here, I'm just going to turn the width to 6. So you're going to give it a very, very long stitch itself. So that's pretty much what it is. And then my length here, I'm going to turn it to 4. Okay, so that's for my Singer heavy duty machine. Your machine might be different, but the thing is, just want to make sure that the stitch is very, very elongated. So now when you're sewing, don't add any back stitch. And we're just going to go half an inch down. So we're just making a big stitch. So guys, I just trying to bring up the video a little bit faster. So do 2 stitch, okay? So you do a first stitch, and then make sure that there's no back stitch and it's a big stitch. Immediately after, you're going to do a second stitch. All right, so we could get to pull together nicely there. All right, and of course you could see I'm doing another one right here. So once you do the 2 stitch, then you are done, and then we will gather it up nicely. You have to take your time when you're gathering it up though, and then we'll be able to finish it up nicely with our beautiful waistband. All right. All right, so your next step now is to take the 2 threads here. So the 2 threads I have here, it's white threads, so you can see the 2 threads here for the top threads, and we're going to pull them together. So we're going to gather it up to fit the waistband itself. Okay, so let's start to gather. So just gently pull, because if you don't pull gently, the thread could burst, and then you have to do the whole thing all over again. So you see what I'm doing? I'm just pulling it gently. So gently pull down gently. If it's tight, just take your time, because I think some part of mine was a little bit I go a little bit too fast. So let's see, just go down. So you pulling this down. I think when we pass this will be fine. See? So you can see the nice gathered here already. Just continue pulling it down nicely. You could also do the other side as well, pull up. But that's the goal. Just continue pulling. You hold the two thread nicely together. And you see how it's coming nicely already? See the gather starting to form? All right, so continue doing that. And then we will get to the waistband itself. All right, guys. So now we're just pinning everything down now. So make sure you have the right side of the skirt facing you. So this is my right side here. And I'm just going to pin the waistband down. Now here you'll have to have a good like 2 inches or so, or maybe 3 inches or so, like straight. And then we're gonna put right sides to right sides. That's how we can pin our waistband down, okay? So as you pin, you're gonna even out the gathered to make sure everything fit nicely. If you're confident, you could actually just go sew it without the pins. I wanna pin just to make sure everything is all set. And again, you could follow along nicely. So you could pin very closely though. I'm just gonna pin just to make sure everything tucked down. I don't necessarily have to pin, but again, it's always best if you pin or you clip it just to make sure you have everything nice and even. So, and again, before you do that, just make sure you can measure the waist to see if, okay, it's a bit average. For me it was okay, except I changed, except something changed, but it was okay. See, I'm going here, go here, so you see it's pretty much come here today. So now it's just a matter of pinning, and then we go and sew it down, and then we'll put our zipper. So the length of the skirt, the gather, is just based on the waistband. And of course we add 3 inches extra. So we just have to make sure that the gather gonna gather in according to the waistband itself. Okay. So again, just make sure here is straight. They come here. Because we want it straight to fit in our zipper nicely. So if there is two, so we have our, yeah, make sure it's nice and straight there. All right, so now we are gonna do our fully nice 1/2 inch down and sew it down. Alrighty, so let's get started. If you have a different color thread you want to change this, so I'm going to change this into black thread because I don't need the white thread anymore. You know how to change the setting on your machine, okay? Put it back to your normal stitch. All right, and then we'll get started. So now 1/2 inch. Take your time, take out your pins. And now, of course, you do your back stitch in the beginning and the end. Okay, guys, so now I just speed up the video so we could move along. So definitely it's just about sewing the waistband and taking out the pins as you sew along. All right, so before the end of this, I would play a little music and then we will get going with our sewing. Okay guys, so I just want to show you guys how it is. So I had to put the video this way. Right, so the only thing left now is just to put on the zipper and then hem it to your desired length. So there you go. So it's for the zipper now. So what we're gonna do for the zipper, we are going to leave at least 7.5 to 8 inches space for the zipper here, because the space I get for the measurement to make sure the waist fit properly on each side, I have to go 1 5/8 of an inch. Okay, so I'm gonna sew 1 5/8 of an inch down for the zipper. All right, so it actually was 1.5, but then the 5/8 come just to make sure the skirt fit nice and tailored. Remember, it was 1.5 inch. I will leave for the zipper allowance on each side 3 inches, but we're gonna go in just 1/8 of an inch more on each side just to make sure the skirt fit tailored down. All right, so what we're gonna do now is we're just gonna make sure that this is pinned nicely. Then we have an opening here for at least an 8 inches down zipper, right? And then from here now, right, so from here I'm gonna be sewing down from here to here, and this is gonna be 1 5/8 of an inch, and then we'll fit our zipper. So now I'm just gonna be sewing down that space that I left, like I mentioned to you. So I did leave the space for our zipper, so right now I'm just sewing everything down all the way down. I'm gonna speed up the video a bit, and then we'll move to the next step. Right, so we're going with the zipper now. So I have a long zipper, right, because this one is a bit stronger than this one. This one is weak, so I want to put a long zipper. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to open the zipper here. So it's the center zipper we're going to be putting, okay? So what I've done, the 5.5, the 1 5/8 of an inch, I just iron it on this side for the zipper area, and I'm going to pin the zipper in. So fold this down. I'm going to take my pin out here. We're just gonna make a basic center zipper. That's an easy zipper to sew. So, but this zip is long, so eventually I'm gonna just cut it out, and I'm gonna shorten it itself. So, but once everything is done, once all my sewing is done. So now same thing here on this side. I'm gonna fold it down this way. This pin there are too gigantic, so I'm gonna take a smaller pin here. Okay. Pin it down. And then what you could do, if you have needle and thread, you could actually baste it down if you're doing zipper for the first time, because zipper is not like smooth running. It could be a headache sometimes. But practice is what it is. So I'm here. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to pull up the zipper a bit here. I'll show you what is very, very important here when you're making a skirt, is to make sure that this align. So mine isn't aligned 100%. So I'm going to just move it up a bit here. But just to make sure that this align here. Right? So you see there's a little bit missed, although you can't really see that clearly. But one is just maybe less than 1/8 of an inch. See right here, one is just a less than 1/8 of an inch. So I'm gonna either bring it up or bring it down. So pretty much once that is done, you wanna make sure that is aligned to the T. Although it's black, it's not really noticeable anyway. But that is make you a really, it sets you apart. It give you a good distinction. All right, yeah. Okay, so we are gonna sew this down. I have to just go back one here. So I'm going to stop right here, lift the zipper up, lift the presser foot up and then zip my zipper up. So a good way up. Then I'm gonna put it back down and I'll continue sewing. Now when I reach to the part where I have to turn leaf up my presser foot, turn my entire skirt, and then you're gonna walk. Take your time and walk across. Don't walk too hard. And then you're gonna be going up. Then you're gonna continue. Then you could zip your zipper back down. Yeah. And you finish your skirt. So here's a little bit hard, so I will try to take my time because it is the folding part there. There's a lot of fabric there. Take out this pin as well. I went back just to make it stronger, that's all. And we're just hemming the bottom. Alright guys, so now we just hemming the bottom and that's the end. Our skirt is done. There you go. Skirt is done, guys. See, very, very easy, very stylish, very stylish and easy, very, very easy, very, very easy. So you see, you yourself can sew. This is Gellis at Infinite Mod. This is the design. Yeah.